At Christmas dinner, I sat at the head of the table with my arm in a sling, and my daughter-in-law stood up, raised her glass, and announced to our guests, "To Robert finally learning his place in this house." My son nodded approvingly. Then I pulled a red envelope from my jacket pocket, and the smile died on her face. But before we continue, please subscribe to Velvet Revenge, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. The envelope sat heavy in my inside pocket as I carved the prime rib. My left arm throbbed where it rested in the sling. 3 weeks. That's how long it had been since Stephanie pushed me down the basement stairs. I could still feel the moment of weightlessness before my shoulder hit the concrete floor. The crack that echoed through the basement. The copper taste of blood, where I'd bitten my tongue. I looked around the table. Bill and Martha Chen from next door. Pastor Green from the Methodist Church. Dr. Patricia Walsh, my physician. Tom Bradley, my attorney. And of course, Michael and Stephanie, sitting across from me like they owned the place. Which, technically, they thought they were about to. Let me back up. 6 months ago, my son Michael called. His voice had that tightness I'd learned to recognize. "Dad, we need to talk about something. Financial stuff." My gut clenched. I knew Stephanie had expensive tastes. The Instagram posts with designer bags. The new Audi in the driveway despite Michael's modest salary as an IT manager. "How much?" I asked quietly. $73,000. Michael's words came out in a rush. "Credit cards, mostly. Steph's business investments didn't pan out. We're drowning, Dad. The house is at risk." I'm a problem solver. Spent 35 years as a structural engineer, fixing things that were broken, reinforcing things that were weak. My son needed help. I had the money. Not $73,000 sitting around, but I had home equity. I'd paid off the mortgage on this house in Oak Park 2 years after my wife Linda died. Took every penny of life insurance, every dollar of savings. But I did it. The house was mine, free and clear, worth about $400,000. "I'll take out a home equity line of credit," I told Michael. "Pay off your debts. You can pay me back over time, no interest. Just get back on your feet." I heard him exhale. "Dad, I don't know what to say. Say you'll be more careful going forward." "We will, I promise. Stephanie's learning. She's trying to start a legitimate consulting business now." The HELOC came through in August. $73,000 secured against my house. I wrote the check. Michael hugged me. Stephanie kissed my cheek and called me the best father-in-law in the world. For 2 weeks, things felt good, like I'd fixed something important. Then Stephanie came to me alone. She perched on my living room couch, designer heels kicked off, wine glass in hand. "Robert, I need to talk to you about something important." She'd never called me Robert before, always Dad or Pops. The hair on my neck stood up. "I'm listening. We need you to co-sign on a business loan, $200,000. It's a sure thing, a wellness spa franchise. The projections are incredible." I set down my newspaper. "Stephanie, I just gave you $73,000. Her smile tightened. "That was for past mistakes. This is for our future, our family's future." I shook my head. "I'm not co-signing a loan that size. I'm 67 years old. If something happens and you can't pay, they'll come after my house." She stood, something cold flickering across her face. "I see. You don't believe in us." "That's not what I said." "It's exactly what you said." She grabbed her purse. "Maybe we need to reconsider our living situation. We've been looking at that condo near the lake. It's pricey, but if family won't support family, we'll have to make other arrangements." "Wait, what? You're living in a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,200 a month." I shook my head. "Stephanie, be realistic. You just got out from under $73,000 in debt." She leaned against the doorframe. "You know what would solve everything? If Michael and I moved in here, you have 4 bedrooms. We'd save on rent, save up money, help you around the house. You're not getting any younger." I felt something shift in the room, the way she said it. Not as a question or a favor, but as a statement of fact. As if the decision had already been made somewhere I wasn't invited. "I need to think about it." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Don't think too long, Robert. Things are tight. We might need to make decisions quickly." Michael called the next day. "Dad, Steph told me about her idea. I think it makes sense. Our lease is up in 2 months anyway. We'd split utilities, help with maintenance. It'd be good for all of us." The pressure in his voice. the rehearsed quality. I knew Stephanie had written the script. I don't know, son. I value my independence. It's a big house, Dad. You barely use half of it. Don't you get lonely? Honestly, I loved my quiet mornings, my routine, coffee at 6, newspaper, woodworking in the garage, Tuesday poker with the guys. Linda had been gone 5 years, and I'd learned to build a life that worked. But Michael was my only child, and he sounded desperate. Okay, I finally said, but let's set some ground rules. Rent, utilities, house rules. Of course, Dad. Whatever you want. They moved in on October 1st. The first week was fine. Stephanie cooked dinner twice. Michael helped me replace the porch light. But by week 2, things started shifting. Stephanie rearranged the living room without asking. When I objected, she laughed. Robert, this furniture is ancient. We're just updating things. Michael said nothing, eyes on his phone. I let it go. The ground rules I'd mentioned never materialized. When I brought up rent, Stephanie looked wounded. After everything you've done for us, we thought we were family helping family. You want to charge us rent? Michael shifted uncomfortably. Dad, maybe we can just contribute to groceries and utilities for now, until we're more stable. More stable came and went. October, November. No money appeared. Instead, other things did. Amazon boxes stacked in the hallway. A Peloton bike in my garage workshop, blocking my table saw. Stephanie's loud phone calls with her friends, complaining about everything from the neighborhood to the lack of a proper walk-in closet. When I asked them to keep it down, she rolled her eyes. Then came Thanksgiving. I'd planned to make Linda's recipes, her sage stuffing, her pumpkin pie with bourbon whipped cream, but Stephanie announced she'd invited friends over, 6 of them. People I'd never met, the house filled with strangers drinking my liquor, music pounding. When I retreated to my bedroom at 8:30, Stephanie caught me in the hall. Turning in already? We're just getting started. I have church in the morning. She laughed, loud enough for her friends to hear. Church? Right. Michael's dad is very traditional. Boring, but traditional. December 3rd changed everything. I was in the basement, organizing Christmas decorations, Linda's ornaments, the boxes we'd collected over 40 years of marriage. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Stephanie appeared, phone pressed to her ear. She didn't see me in the corner behind the shelving unit. Yeah, I'm serious, she was saying. The old man won't budge. I asked him to co-sign and he flat refused. Her friend's voice was tinny through the speaker. So, what are you going to do? Stephanie laughed. We're already in the house. Michael thinks we should just wait him out. He's 67. How much time does he have left anyway? But I'm not that patient. I think we need to accelerate things. Accelerate? Like what? Stephanie's voice dropped. There are ways to have someone declared incompetent. My aunt did it with her mother. Got conservatorship, controlled everything. The house, the money, all of it. But he seems pretty sharp. That's the thing. She paused. We just need to create doubt. A few incidents, some concerned neighbors. Medical documentation. Once we get conservatorship, the house is basically ours. We can take out more equity or just wait for nature to take its course and inherit. I stood frozen behind the boxes. My heart hammered. My own son was letting his wife plot to steal my house, to have me declared incompetent so they could control my assets. Did Michael know? Was he part of this? I need to move some stuff, Stephanie said. Her heels clicked toward where I stood. I stepped out from behind the shelving. She jerked back, phone tumbling from her hand. Robert, God, you scared me. How long have you been down here? Long enough. Her face went through calculations. I saw her weighing options. Then she smiled. You heard me venting. Look, I was just frustrated. I didn't mean any of that. You asked me to commit fraud, to help you steal my house. She stepped closer. We're not stealing anything. We're family. The house will be Michael's eventually anyway. We're just trying to secure our future. Our family's future. You're my son's wife. You've been here 2 months and you're already planning to have me declared incompetent? That's insane, she pointed at me. You know what's insane? Refusing to help family. Hoarding this big house while we struggle. Being selfish. Get out. Her eyes widened. What? Both of you, get out of my house." She laughed, but there was an edge to it. "You can't just kick us out. This is our home now. We have tenant rights." I moved toward the stairs. She blocked my path. "Where are you going?" "To tell Michael what you said." She grabbed my arm, her nails dug in. "You're not telling him anything. Let go of me." "No." "You're confused, Robert. You misheard. You're having one of your episodes." "What episodes?" "I don't have episodes." "Exactly." She smiled. "But maybe you should start." She shoved me. Hard. I was standing 2 steps up, turned to face her. The push caught me off balance. I felt the edge of the step, tried to catch the railing, but my hand slipped. Then I was falling backward. Time stretched out. I saw the concrete floor rushing up, threw my arm out to catch myself. The impact drove through my shoulder like lightning. I heard the pop before I felt the pain. My head bounced off the floor. The world went gray. When I came to, Stephanie was standing over me. "Oh, God," she was saying, but her voice was strange, performative. "Robert, can you hear me?" "Michael! Michael, come quick! Your dad fell!" I tried to sit up. Pain exploded through my left side. My arm hung wrong. I tasted blood. Michael thundered down the stairs. "Dad! What happened?" "He fell," Stephanie said smoothly. I came down to check on him and found him at the bottom of the stairs. I think he missed a step. Her story was seamless, like she'd prepared it in the seconds I was unconscious. I tried to speak. She pushed me. The words came out slurred. "What?" Michael knelt beside me. "Dad, don't try to talk." "Steph, call 911. I grabbed Michael's shirt with my good hand. She pushed me. "Listen to me." Michael looked at Stephanie. She was crying now. Real tears or fake, I couldn't tell. I don't know what he's talking about. He must have hit his head. Michael's face creased with worry. "It's okay, Dad. Help is coming." The EMTs arrived. Questions about what happened. Stephanie explained I'd been acting confused lately, forgetting things. She'd found me at the bottom of the stairs. She was so worried. Michael backed her up. "Yeah, he's been a little off," repeating himself. "The other day he left the stove on. I tried to object, to tell them the truth. But my words weren't working right. The pain medication they'd given me made everything fuzzy. At the hospital they found a dislocated shoulder, mild concussion, and 2 cracked ribs. The doctor asked if I felt safe at home. I wanted to scream no, but Michael was right there holding my good hand, looking concerned. I didn't know what to say. They sent me home with pain medication and a sling. Michael drove. Stephanie rode in back, silent. As we pulled into the driveway, she leaned forward. "Robert, I'm so sorry this happened. We need to be more careful. Maybe install some railings. Get you one of those alert buttons." I stared straight ahead. The garage opener clicked. The door rose, and I thought, I'm not safe here. That night, I lay in bed unable to sleep. My shoulder screamed every time I moved. But worse was the fear. The knowledge that the woman down the hall had tried to kill me, or at least hurt me badly enough to make me seem incompetent. And my son either didn't know or didn't care. I had to be strategic. I couldn't just accuse her. I needed proof. I needed help. I needed a plan. The next morning, I called Bill Chen, my neighbor. Bill was 72, retired from the fire department. We'd been friends for 15 years. "Bill, I need your help. Something's wrong. Come over." Bill arrived 30 minutes later with his wife Martha. They sat in my living room while Michael was at work and Stephanie was out. I told them everything. The conversation I'd overheard. The push. The lies. Bill's face darkened. "You need to report this. File a police report." I shook my head. It's my word against hers. She'll say I'm confused from the fall. She's already planted seeds. "I need proof first," Martha leaned forward. "What do you need from us?" "Witnesses. And help documenting everything." Bill pulled out his phone. "I'm calling my daughter. She's an attorney. Elder law. This is exactly her specialty." 2 days later, I met with Sarah Chen, Bill's daughter. She was 45, sharp-eyed, no nonsense. "Mr. Harrison, what they're attempting is financial elder abuse and potentially assault. But you're right. We need evidence before we move. Here's what we're going to do." She laid out a plan. "First, get medical documentation of the injuries. Photos. Records. Second, Install hidden cameras in common areas of my house. Third, start documenting every incident, every comment, every interaction. Fourth, get a cognitive evaluation to prove I was mentally competent. Fifth, update my estate plan immediately. We can also file for a restraining order based on the assault, she added. But given that she's living in your home and you want to build a case, I recommend we gather evidence first. Create an irrefutable pattern, then we act decisively. How long? I asked. Weeks, not months. We need to move before they do. That afternoon, Bill helped me install 3 tiny cameras. One in the living room disguised as a smoke detector, one in the kitchen hidden in a clock, one in the hallway, all motion activated, recording to a cloud server they couldn't access. It felt like being in a spy movie, except this was my home, my family, the family that was trying to destroy me. The cameras caught everything. Stephanie on the phone continuing her plot. Michael asking when they'd move forward with the conservatorship filing. Her reply, after Christmas, we need a few more incidents. Make sure the neighbors see him confused. Then we'll have Dr. Morrison write a letter. Apparently Stephanie had already been researching compliant doctors. The cameras caught her going through my mail, photographing my bank statements, measuring rooms in the house, discussing renovations they'd make once it's ours. But they also caught Michael, and that broke something in me. My son sitting at my kitchen table telling Stephanie, I feel bad about this, she snapped. He'll be fine. He'll be in a nice facility. We'll visit. You want to struggle forever because you're too guilty to secure our future? Michael dropped his head. No. Then stop whining. We're doing this. I made an appointment with Dr. Patricia Walsh, my physician for 20 years. Patricia, I need you to document something. I told her everything. She listened, face grave. Then she examined me thoroughly. Cognitive tests, memory assessments, physical examination of my injuries. At the end, she printed out a detailed report. Robert, you're cognitively intact, sharp as anyone I see. These injuries are consistent with a fall, but also consistent with being pushed. I'm documenting all of this. If anyone tries to claim you're incompetent, I'll testify otherwise. I also consulted with a geriatric psychiatrist, Dr. Alan Foster. Sarah Chen recommended him. Another full evaluation, more tests, same conclusion, no cognitive impairment, no dementia, no confusion, completely competent. Doctor, Foster added, Mr. Harrison, what you're describing is actually a common form of elder abuse. Family members create a false narrative of incompetence to gain control of assets. It's insidious because it makes the victim doubt themselves. With Sarah's help, I drafted a new will. Everything to charity. The house would go to the local Habitat for Humanity chapter. My retirement accounts and savings to the Methodist Church's outreach programs. Michael would receive $10,000, the legal minimum to prevent him from contesting. Stephanie would receive nothing. I signed it in Sarah's office with Bill and Martha as witnesses. It was notarized, legally airtight. Now, I just needed the right moment. The perfect stage to reveal everything. Sarah suggested, make it public. Make it impossible for them to spin the narrative. You need witnesses who'll remember exactly what happened. Thanksgiving was too soon. The cameras needed more time. So we planned for Christmas. I'd host a small dinner party, invite people I trusted, and present the evidence in front of everyone. The weeks leading up to Christmas were surreal. I played the role of oblivious grandfather. I pretended not to notice Stephanie going through my desk. I smiled when Michael asked probing questions about my finances. I let them think their plan was working. Meanwhile, the cameras recorded everything. 47 separate conversations discussing my incompetence. 14 instances of Stephanie stealing mail or documents. 6 times Michael actively participated in the deception. I caught Stephanie on camera calling a facility. Yes, I'm inquiring about memory care units. My father-in-law. Mid-stage dementia. We're looking to place him after the holidays. Cost isn't an issue. He has substantial assets. She was pricing nursing homes. For me, while I was upstairs, perfectly healthy, listening through the baby monitor Bill had helped me hide. December 20th, Stephanie staged another incident. She invited the Johnsons from across the street for coffee. While they sat in the living room, she engaged me in conversation. Robert, Didn't you tell me yesterday you were going to fix the garage door? I never said that. The garage door is fine. She turned to the Johnsons, concern etched on her face. See? This is what I mean. He says things and then completely forgets. Yesterday he spent 20 minutes looking for his glasses. They were on his head. The Johnsons looked at me with pity. I wanted to scream. Instead, I smiled pleasantly. Must be getting old. But the camera caught it all. Caught her whispering to Mrs. Johnson in the kitchen. We're trying to get him evaluated, but he's resistant. We're so worried. The Johnsons left, and Stephanie immediately called someone. Did it. The neighbors saw him confused. That's 2 witnesses now. Building the case. Christmas Eve, I finalized the plan. Called my guests to confirm. Pastor Green, Dr. Walsh, Dr. Foster, Bill and Martha Chen, Sarah Chen, Tom Bradley, my attorney. 6 people who knew the truth. 6 people who'd witnessed my competence. 6 people who'd testify if needed. Michael and Stephanie thought it was just a simple Christmas dinner. My way of bringing family together. They had no idea. Christmas morning I cooked. Prime rib, roasted vegetables, Linda's famous scalloped potatoes. I worked carefully around my still healing shoulder. The sling was off, but I still favored my left side. Every movement reminded me of that moment on the stairs, of Stephanie's hands on my chest. The choice she'd made to hurt me. The guests arrived at 6. Michael and Stephanie were already there playing the dutiful son and daughter-in-law. Stephanie wore a red dress. She'd decorated the dining room with fresh flowers. To anyone else, we looked like a perfect family. Michael carved the prime rib. Everyone settled around the table. Pastor Green said grace. We ate. Small talk flowed. The food was good. Everything was civilized. Normal. And then Stephanie stood. She raised her wine glass. I'd like to make a toast. She smiled at me. To Robert, for opening his home to us, for being so generous, and for finally learning his place in this house. Michael nodded, clinked his glass against hers, and that's when I pulled the red envelope from my jacket pocket. I stood slowly. Before we continue, I said quietly, I have something to share. Stephanie's smile froze. What's that? An envelope. I'd like everyone to see what's inside. I pulled out the first document. This is a medical evaluation from Dr. Walsh, dated 2 weeks ago. Cognitive function, normal. Diagnosis, physically healing from injuries sustained in a fall. Or rather, from being pushed down my basement stairs by my daughter-in-law on December 3rd. Stephanie's face went white. Dad, what are you doing? Michael started. I held up a hand. I'm not finished. I pulled out the next document. This is a psychiatric evaluation from Dr. Foster. Conclusion. No dementia, no cognitive impairment. Completely competent to make my own decisions. But Robert, you have been confused, Stephanie interjected. We've all seen it. Actually, I said, the only person who's been confused is you. Confused about whose house this is. I turned to my guests. For the past 2 months, I've been documenting a systematic attempt by my son and daughter-in-law to have me declared incompetent so they could take control of my assets. I pulled out my laptop, connected it to the TV, and I have video evidence. I played the clips. Stephanie on the phone discussing conservatorship, Michael agreeing to move forward after Christmas, Stephanie staging the confusion incident with the Johnsons, her calling nursing homes. All of it. The room was silent, except for the audio from my kitchen, my living room, my own home, where my family plotted against me. When the last clip ended, I turned to them. You pushed me down the stairs, Stephanie. You tried to injure me badly enough to make your lies believable. You've been building a case to steal my house, put me in a home, and take everything I've worked for. Stephanie was crying now, but they looked like angry tears. You recorded us? That's illegal. Actually, Tom Bradley spoke up for the first time. In California, it's legal to record conversations in your own home when you have reason to believe crimes are being committed. Elder abuse, conspiracy to commit fraud, assault, all felonies. Michael stood. His face was red. Dad, you don't understand. We were trying to help. Help? I looked at my son, my only child, the boy I raised. You were going to put me in a nursing home and steal my house. She wanted to help you. You're alone here. You're getting older. You need care. I'm 67, not 97. I'm in perfect health. I'm cognitively intact. Multiple doctors confirm it. I gestured to Dr. Walsh and Dr. Foster. They nodded. This isn't about my welfare. This is about money you don't want to earn. Stephanie found her voice. After everything we've done for you, living here, taking care of you, taking care of me, I pay all the bills. You've contributed nothing. You've stolen my mail, plotted to steal my house, and physically assaulted me. That's not care. That's abuse. She looked around the table for support, found none. Pastor Green's face was grave. Bill Chen's arms were crossed. Martha was shaking her head. Sarah Chen watched everything with professional detachment, probably cataloging it for court. I have one more document, I said. I pulled out the red envelope I'd been keeping. My new will, executed 3 weeks ago with proper witnesses and notarization. I looked at Michael. Everything goes to charity. The house to Habitat for Humanity, my retirement funds to the church. You get $10,000. The legal minimum to prevent you from contesting. Her? I looked at Stephanie. Nothing. You're not family. You're a predator. Michael lunged across the table. His hands reached for the envelope. Bill Chen moved faster, grabbing Michael's arm. Sit down, son. Michael's face crumpled. Dad, please. You can't do this. I already have. Tom Bradley spoke again. I'd also like to note that eviction proceedings were filed this morning. You have 30 days to vacate the premises. After that, the sheriff will remove you forcibly if necessary. Stephanie grabbed her purse. This is bullshit. You're a bitter old man. We'll fight this. We'll contest everything. Sarah Chen finally spoke. Miss Miller, you're welcome to try. But you should know that filing a conservatorship petition now, after these recordings become part of the public record, would be seen as retaliation. Any attorney will tell you the same. You have no case. Additionally, Mr. Harrison could press assault charges. The statute of limitations hasn't expired. Could? I said. I turned to Bill. Could you call your old contacts at the police department? I'd like to file charges for assault and attempted fraud. Bill pulled out his phone. Absolutely. Michael's face went gray. Dad, don't do this. You're sending her to jail. She assaulted me. She tried to steal my home. Actions have consequences. But I'm your son. You are. That's why you get $10,000 instead of nothing. But you stood by while she plotted against me. You participated. You chose her over your father. Now, you live with that choice. Stephanie was screaming now. You're pathetic. A pathetic old man who'll die alone in this house. Maybe, I said calmly, but I'll die free. I'll die with dignity. And I'll die knowing my money went to people who actually needed it instead of entitled parasites who couldn't be bothered to work for anything. She threw her wine glass at me. It missed, shattered against the wall. Bill and Tom moved toward her. That's assault, Tom said, in front of witnesses. Martha, would you film this, please? Martha pulled out her phone. Stephanie looked around wildly, then bolted for the door. Michael hesitated. Dad, please. I looked at him, and for a moment, I saw the little boy who used to help me in the garage, who'd bring me coffee on Sunday mornings, who'd called me his hero. Leave, Michael. The moment broke. He followed Stephanie out. The door slammed. Silence filled the room. Pastor Green raised his glass. That took tremendous courage, Robert. I sat down heavily. Did it? Or was I just protecting myself? Both can be true, Dr. Walsh said gently. You gave them multiple chances. They chose this path. The police arrived 40 minutes later, took my statement, watched the videos, assured me they'd follow up on charges. Bill walked them out. When he came back, he squeezed my shoulder. You did the right thing. The guests stayed another hour, helped me clean up. Pastor Green prayed with me. Martha packed leftovers. As they left, each one hugged me, told me I wasn't alone, that they'd be there if I needed anything. Tom Bradley was last. The will is solid, Robert. They can't touch it. And with the criminal charges, any civil suit they attempt will collapse. You're protected. After everyone left, I walked through the empty house, picked up the broken glass from Stephanie's wine throw, looked at the Christmas tree Linda and I had bought 20 years ago, the ornaments we'd collected over decades. This was my home, mine. I'd protected it. But at what cost? I'd lost my son, maybe forever. That night, I barely slept. In the morning, I went to the garage, started a new woodworking project, a bookshelf for the Methodist Church. Simple, functional, beautiful. By afternoon, I was losing myself in the rhythm of measuring, cutting, sanding. My phone buzzed. Michael. I let it go to voicemail. It buzzed again and again. Finally, I listened. Dad, it's me. Voice shaking. Stephanie left. Just packed her stuff and left. Said she couldn't handle the legal trouble. She's gone. And I'm realizing what she was. What I let her make me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Can we talk, please? I stared at the phone. Part of me wanted to call him back, to say yes, to forgive. But another part, the part that still felt the impact of concrete on my skull, the part that heard him agreeing to put me in a home, that part wasn't ready. Not yet, maybe someday, but not today. 3 months later, Michael and Stephanie's divorce was finalized. He'd moved to San Diego, took a job with a tech startup. He sent me letters, apologizing, explaining, begging for another chance. I read them, didn't respond. Maybe I would eventually, maybe I wouldn't. The choice was mine now. The eviction cleared. The house was quiet again, mine again. I joined a woodworking club, started volunteering at Habitat for Humanity, helping build homes for people who actually needed them. Dr. Walsh introduced me to her book club. I went hiking with Bill most Saturdays. One Sunday, 6 months after that Christmas, I was working in the garage when Pastor Green stopped by. How are you doing, Robert? Really? I considered the question. I'm at peace, I finally said. I protected myself. I set boundaries. I chose dignity over false family harmony. It was the right call. He nodded. Linda would be proud. You think? I know. She always said you were the strongest man she knew. Just took you a while to remember it yourself. That night, I looked at a photo of Michael as a boy. 10 years old, gap-toothed smile, holding up a model airplane we'd built together. I wondered if that boy was still in there somewhere. If the man who'd betrayed me could find his way back to who he used to be. I didn't know. But I knew this. I'd done what I needed to do. Justice wasn't revenge. It was simply refusing to be a victim. It was protecting what was mine. It was choosing myself when no one else would. The red envelope sat in my desk drawer. Sometimes I'd take it out, remember that moment at Christmas dinner, the look on their faces when they realized their plan had failed, that the old man they'd underestimated had been 10 steps ahead the whole time. It wasn't satisfaction I felt. It was something quieter, relief, freedom, the knowledge that I'd fought back, that I'd won. Not because I destroyed them, but because I saved myself. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to Velvet Revenge, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means everything. To watch another story of justice served, click the video on your screen. Thank you for watching.